welcome to the 5:30 All Levels Yoga class here at the Hatha Yoga Center. I'm Chris, and it's kind of a little bit of a gray Friday evening here in Seattle, and I'm looking forward to a well-rounded class this evening. But if you're joining in, please feel free to let me know if you have any requests or say hi in the comments. And as I usually do, I'm going to start in a seated position, and you could come to your seat, and you might sit on the floor or sit up on a bolster. You could sit in hero pose. Hi, Joanne. And hi, Sasha and Shavanti. Good to see you guys. Hips and outer leg. All right, like IT band, kind of outer thigh, I'm thinking. So let's come to our seat and just take a few moments to ground ourselves and bring ourselves into the awareness of our breath before we start to move. So find your seat, a comfortable seat for a moment, and find your spine. I'll come back and look at the screen in a moment. And allow yourself to be heavy in your seat, grounding yourself, feeling your sit bones against the surface that you're sitting on. Maybe a little bit of swaying from side to side, coming into something that feels balanced, and then a little bit of movement of the spine until you can feel the natural curves of your spine and find a fairly neutral upright spine, lengthening up through the crown of the head, grounding down through your seat, and take a few conscious breaths here, breathing in and out through the nose. So many benefits of breathing in and out through the nose, and generally we do that unless we're doing some type of pranayama that involves the mouth. Important to breathe through your nose in your regular life. Filters a lot of pathogens and allergens out of the air that comes into your body, and warms and moisturizes the air, humidifies the air as it comes into your lungs. So you might close your eyes for a moment and just feel the movement of the rib cage and the belly with the breath. Grounding yourself and feeling your spine rising up. And then you might bring your hands together at your heart, and if you'd like to set an intention for your practice this evening, you could do that now. Just taking a moment, bowing your head, feeling your palms gently pressing together in this mudra or gesture, Anjali Mudra, which is a gesture of offering. Relaxing your jaw and your face. And I'm going to come look at the screen, but come to hands and knees and start some cat-cow. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Janice. IT band. And Janice says, upper back, shoulders, deltoids to counter gardening. Okay, awesome. We've got a full class already. So on your hands and knees, just starting to move your spine through cat and cow with your breath. Continuing to breathe in and out through your nose, rounding the spine, exhaling. Tipping your pelvis, inhale. Feeling the belly contracting and lengthening. Couple more times through. Maybe the next time you come to cat, you could come up onto fingertips and dome your palms up, kind of wrapping your elbows forward. Let your head drop for a moment, doming up your back and your belly. Stretching the middle of your back, and then release it, and walk your hands forward. You might be able to bring your forehead to the floor, or maybe to a block. Relaxing the neck, And try lifting your forearms and pulling your hands back towards you, feeling your shoulder blades dragging down the back of the rib cage as the middle of your back is opening. So it's an engaged kind of prayer pose. Feeling your breath. And then walking hands over towards the left, feeling length up the right side of your body, up your torso, through the waistline, into the rib cage, breathing. Let your head and neck relax against the floor or the block. And then hands come back through center and over to the right, drawing left hip back, relaxing your head and neck. Nice steady breath. Hands come back to center. Spread your hands, bring your forearms down, and just rock a few times forward and backwards. You could bring the hips back towards the heels. And just taking a few movements like that. And then let's come up to downward dog. Spread your hands, tuck your toes, lift your hips. And maybe pedal into one heel and the other, bending one knee. Maybe pausing on one side at a time, moving the hips, and breathing. Feeling the breath coming in and out through the nose. Feeling a breath perhaps in the back of your body as the rib cage moves with the breath. Coming back to center. Let your head relax a little bit in your down dog. Wrap your elbows in and let your shoulder blades slide down the back of the rib cage. And then walk your feet towards your hands, coming into a forward bend. Bring your feet about hip width. Spread your toes, let your arches lift a little. Feel the belly lifting. Find your long spine. So head and shoulders stay lifted, tails lifting. And the breath is moving freely. You might start Ujjayi breathing at any time, gently closing off the back of your throat to make a little friction so you can hear your breath and feel it, helping you to stay focused. Then let's sweep the arms out and come all the way up, reaching up. Palms could face one another. See if you can ground down through your sacrum and lift up through pubic bone, finding a little arch in your upper back as your shoulders slide. And then with your arms out to the sides, hinge forward at the hips again. You could bring hands to the thighs, folding forward at the hips. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bow forward again. And then let's sweep the arms out and up, come back up to stand. We'll just start with a little flow like this. Inhale. Exhale, bow forward, arms out to the sides. Knees can be bent or legs can be straight. Exhale, forward. Inhale, back up, halfway up. Exhale, bow forward. And then one more time, sweep the arms out, come back up, lengthen the arms up. Inhale, exhale, forward. Into your forward bend, folding forward. Inhale up halfway, pause there. So knees can be bent a little bit. So you're engaged, but try to breathe in a relaxed way. And then bow forward again. Take a breath here in your forward bend. And then we'll step the left foot back. Bring the knee down. And come up, bringing your weight back up and over your left knee. Sweep your arms up. And take a breath here. Finding a gaze ahead of you, slightly up. Soft, steady gaze. Ujjayi breathing. Then reach back with your right arm, take a twist. Left arm is forward, palms facing upward. Then sweep your right arm forward and left arm back. Twisting in the opposite direction. Left arm comes forward, arms come up again. Take a breath. Bring left hand to the floor and take a little twist. Opening up. You might bring your right arm up over your ear and then Bend the elbow and draw the arm back. You can make a fist and then release the fist. Reach forward, spread your hand. Exhale, draw your elbow back. Make a fist. Reach forward, spread your hand. One more time like that. Exhale, draw the elbow back. Inhale, reach forward and pause there. In the twist, drawing the right hip back, kind of drawing your knee in. And then bring your right hand down to the floor or to blocks and let your hips rock back. Maybe you're on your fingertips, maybe the toe turns up as you bring your hips back, and just rock back and forth a couple of times. Kind of dragging your heel back to wake up the back of the leg. And then the next time you come forward, pause there. You could have your hands back on either side of your foot. Hips drop, head and shoulders lift. Find your breath. Feel your breath. And then from here, draw the hips back. Step back to hands and knees. And make some circles. Just a few circles in one direction, letting head go to one side, hips to the other. And then switch the direction of the circles. And then back to center, to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, bring your hips back, and lift the hips up into downward facing dog. And you might do a couple times. You can be on the balls of your feet, your knees can be bent. Let your knees come towards the floor, not quite touch the floor, and then lift the hips. And do that a couple of times, strengthening your legs, like you're crouching, but you're not putting the knees down. You're just almost to the floor, and then come back to center to your downward facing dog. Spread your hands, wrap your elbows in. And let's exhale, come forward into plank pose, keeping the head lifted. And pause there, take a few breaths. Pressing the floor away, lifting belly. Whole body is involved in plank. And then down onto the belly, maybe with the knees down. Sweeping your hands back, clasp hands at sacrum, and roll up, roll the shoulders up. Keep the toes on the floor. See if you can keep the whole top of your foot and all 10 toes on the floor. Find your breath. Keep your neck long here. Rolling onto the left side. Being mindful of your neck, so supporting your head if you need to, feeling your shoulder blades, moving down the back of the rib cage, pinning your left shoulder, feeling the stretch in the chest. Rolling back onto the belly, and over to the right side. Nice steady breath. Minding your neck. And then back onto the belly, and release the hands. Come into Sphinx pose. And take a couple breaths here. See if you can feel like you're pulling elbows back towards you as your belly pulls forward. Maybe lifting the belly, engaging a bit, angling your tailbone down towards your heels to take the compression out of your low back. Breathing. It feels better to me to do that. If I just let go completely, I feel pinching in my low back, and I like to avoid that. Walk the elbows forward and bend them, so bring your hands together. You might push the fingertips together and palms apart. Again, kind of pulling elbows towards you, feeling the stretch in the triceps and underneath the arms, maybe in your lats a bit, broadening the upper back. And then release the hands. You could put your forehead down for a moment, coming into this long prostration with your hands together. Prostrating yourself to the earth. Feeling the breath in your belly. Feeling it press against the floor. And then bring hands back under the shoulders and push back up to downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths there, perhaps stepping right foot up and behind the left foot, lifting your right hip. I'm just making sure there's no more requests. Okay, I think we got it all. Upper back, shoulders, deltoids, hips and outer legs. And then step that foot back and the opposite foot back behind. I think that would be your left foot back behind your right foot. Lifting left hip. Letting your breath be steady and comfortable, in and out through the nose. Stepping back to downward dog, to center. And then we'll step the left foot forward, bringing the right knee down, and bringing your weight back up and over the right knee. Sweep your arms out and up. Reaching up, lifting the gaze. Feel your shoulders able to release away from the ears. And then we'll bring right arm forward, left arm back. Palms facing up. Then left arm comes straight forward, right arm comes straight back. Twisting in the opposite direction. Let your shoulder blades slide. And then right arm forward, arms come up again. Take a breath. And then take the twist, bringing right hand down to the floor, opening up the chest. And as we did on the other side, you could bring the arm up and over the ear, and then exhale the back, draw the elbow back, make a fist. Inhale, spread the hand, bring it forward. Exhale, elbow back, make a fist. Inhale, spread the hand, bring it over the arm over the ear. One more time, draw the elbow back. Inhale, bring the arm forward and pause for a moment in this twist. And then bringing that hand down, bring it on the inside of the left foot. Maybe on the fingertips, draw the hips backwards and forwards a couple of times. You can also use blocks if you need to. Feeling the stretch in the back of your leg as you pull that heel towards you. One more time, and then come forward into your lunge. Maybe this time your foot's a little further forward. Hips drop, head and shoulders stay lifted. Find your gaze, steady gaze, soft gaze. Comfortable breathing, Ujjayi breathing. Just remembering to breathe, being conscious of your breath. And then we'll step forward into our forward bend. Hinging forward at the hip. And inhale up halfway. Exhale, bow forward. And then inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Lengthening up. And bring hands together at your heart. Pause for just a moment. Feeling your breath. And then sweep the arms out and up again. Exhale, bow forward. Coming into the forward bend. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, bow forward, hinging forward at the hip. And then from here, let's step the left foot to the back of the mat. And let's come up into a warrior one with the back heel lifted, sweeping the arms up. We'll do the same twist as we did with our knee down. And so we'll bring our left arm forward, right arm back. Sink a little deeper into your lunge. Take a breath. Bring your right arm straight forward to meet the left hand, and then the left arm comes back. Back knee can be bent to keep your spine neutral. Left arm comes forward, and then arms come up. Find your breath. Nice steady breath, steady gaze. Bring your left hand down by your right foot. Come into this twist. Opening the chest. Feel how the left leg is engaged. You can feel a little lift of the left thigh. Right hip draws back. And then sweep your right arm down. Step back to downward facing dog. Just bending into one knee and the other. And then coming to center, let's let the right leg float up. So pressing up through the right heel, then stack the hips and let the right knee bend. And if you want to, you could stay there. You could also let your right foot come back to the floor. And take a breath there. And then sweep the right arm down, lift your right leg again. And let that right leg come down, foot to the floor. Lift your left leg. Press into your hands and lift the heel up towards the ceiling, then stack the hips. Let your left knee bend. And optional, you could let your left foot come back to the floor. Some people call it wild thing. And then left hand comes back to the mat, lift your left leg. And then we'll step the left foot down. Pause for a moment. Find your breath. And then exhale, come forward into plank pose. And let's take side plank. So bring right hand into the middle of the mat. The hand comes in front of the shoulder, so it's a bit of an angle. Spinning onto the outer edge of your right foot. And taking a couple breaths in side plank. And then coming back to plank, come to downward dog for a moment, or to prayer. Take a resting breath. And then we'll come back to plank again and bring left hand into the center. A little bit in front of the shoulder, spin onto your left foot. You can also have your right foot down on the floor to support you, or you can stack the feet. Find your breath. And bring right hand down. Come back to downward dog. Find your breath. And then from here, come forward into plank pose with knees up or down. And then coming through, push up halfway down at most with your elbows by your sides. Come up into either the higher version of Cobra, or you could also come back to Sphinx pose. Pressing into the floor if you're on your hands, rolling shoulders back and down, lengthening up through the crown of the head. And if you're up here, roll down and just take a resting breath, rocking the hips. Breathe into the belly. Let's reach the right arm out to the side. So bring the right hand a little below the shoulder here and roll onto your right side as you walk your right hand away. So use your left hand to help you come onto your right side. Bring left foot back, maybe to the floor or just onto your side. So feeling the stretch in the front of your right shoulder, chest. You can always support the head if you need to. You might feel some twist in the lower spine, just be gentle. Roll back onto your belly and extend the left arm out, a little below the shoulder, the hand a little below the shoulder, walking your hand away as you roll onto your right side, bringing your right foot back. And taking a couple breaths there. You can use your right hand to kind of help you find the right spot. And then rolling back onto the belly. And just take a breath into your belly. Rocking the hips a little. Coming back to center. And then hands under the shoulders, elbows tucked in. Come all the way back up to downward facing dog. And come back to the sensation of your breath. To the sound of your breath. Gentle. we'll step the left foot forward for the warrior one lunge with the back heel lifted. Sweeping your arms up. Back knee can be bent to keep your pelvis neutral, lower back neutral. Find your steady gaze. And then we'll take the twist. So we'll bring right hand forward, left hand back, palms open. So strong in your legs, upper body's moving. Bring left arm straight forward to meet the right hand. Right hand comes back, twisting in the opposite direction. Palms facing open. And then right hand comes forward. Arms come back up. Pause and find your breath. And then right hand to the floor, right by your foot or to a block, opening up into the twist. Feeling the right leg, the back of the thigh lifting. Right hip draws back. And then sweep your left hand down, step forward into your forward bend. Coming up halfway. Pause there. Take a breath. And then fold forward again. And just stay there for a couple breaths in your forward bend. If you want to add, you could bring your hands underneath your feet. Bend your knees if that feels good. Or just take any variation of your forward bend. The hands on the thighs or wherever they land. And if the hands are under the feet, release them. And then walk your hands up the front of your legs and draw the belly in and roll up, rounding your spine. Come all the way up, let your head be the last thing to come up. And then let the arms hang for a moment, going from side to side, twisting like your arms are dead weight. Breathing. Coming back to center. Just pause and find your standing mountain. So feel your feet on the floor. And feel the arches lifting. Let your shoulders relax. Your arms hang for a moment. And then from here, bring the weight over into your left foot. And lift your right knee up. So stay really strong in your center. You might extend your right leg. Bend the knee. And either stay here with the inner edge of your right foot to your inner left knee and take the twist like this. Or you could also straighten your leg and reach for the outer edge of the foot. Maybe with a strap or just with a knee bent, breathing. And then coming back and releasing your foot if you had it. And bring it back down to the floor. Circle it out, circle toes, ankles, knees, and hips in one direction and the other. Coming back to stand. Feeling your feet against the floor, feeling balanced. Feeling the lengthening up through the crown of the head. Shoulders relaxed. Bring your weight to your right foot and lift your left knee. And find your steady gaze and your breath. Extend the leg. And bend the knee. And extend. And bend. And then the foot can come to the inside of the knee for the twist. Or perhaps reaching for the outer edge of your left foot with your right hand. Wobbly. Finding your sweet spot wherever you are, breathing. And release that. Come back to center. And release the foot to the floor. Circle your toes, ankles, knees, and hips in one direction and the other, just bringing yourself back to kind of a neutral position with your joints. Coming back to stand. In your standing mountain, sweeping your arms up. Exhale, come forward. Come halfway up, maybe the knees are bent, and bow forward again. And then let's step back to downward facing dog. And take a breath here, lengthening your spine, lifting your tail, really reaching through your arms. Taking a couple breaths here in downward facing dog. We're going to come sideways on the mat. So for me, that's stepping my left foot and coming into a wide-legged forward bend. And you could bend into one knee and the other, letting your upper body kind of move, the shoulders and elbow joints being kind of fluid, moving from side to side. You could pick your hands up, use your core a little bit as you go side to side. Eventually bring yourself to the left, turn the toes of your left foot out slightly. Maybe the toes of your right foot come forward. And then bend deeper, maybe with a forearm or right forearm on the floor. Stay with your long, neutral spine. So bring the weight of your body back a little bit into the left, into both heels actually. So sit bones reach back. Spine stays long. Your left elbow could be in the shin. Steady breath. You can also just be on your hands, that's fine. And then slowly release it and come over to the other side. Toes of the right foot turn slightly out. Staying on hands or coming to the left forearm, pressing the back of your right arm into the shin. Big stretch in the inner thighs, breathing. And then coming back to center. Walk your feet in a little bit, but turn the toes out and bring your elbows into the inner thighs and kind of press into the knees, finding a long spine, drawing the hips back, your seat back. And then maybe hands to the inner knees and take the Ichiro, so dip your left shoulder, twisting. And then in the other direction, pressing your knees open. Maybe one more time through. And come back to center. You can bring your hands down and straighten your legs, just coming into a wide-legged forward bend again. Maybe walking hands forward. So you're in a kind of like a wide-legged downward dog. And then walk the hands back. So bring the right hand in between the line of the toes for the twist. So bring left hand perhaps back to sacrum as you turn your spine. The spine stays long, keeping the head lifted, so the neck is long. You can also bring your left hand back around to the thigh, or keep it on your sacrum and pick up your right hand and press it into the left, top of the left thigh, breathing, lengthening your spine. Feel the weight sort of back in the heels. If you have your hand pressing into the top of the thigh, turn and face the floor, release your hands. And then left hand comes in between the line of the toes, right hand to sacrum or all the way around to the outer left thigh. Turning your spine. Maybe the left hand picks up and presses into the top of the right thigh to help lengthen the spine and bring some weight back into the hips. And then turning to face down again. Turn your toes in for a stretch of your lower legs. Bend your knees so you feel that outer lower leg. Be careful with your knees, but If your toes are turned in, you should be able to feel it on this lateral part of the lower leg. It's pretty intense for me. And then straighten up. And let's walk hands over towards the right ankle or foot, drawing your left hip back, letting your head relax. Nice big stretch up the left side of the torso. See if you can tip your tailbone up a little and let your upper body kind of drop towards the floor. And then walk hands through center and over to the left ankle or lower leg. Maybe you can reach the outside of your foot. Releasing your head and neck. Should feel like a good stretch. And then walking hands back to center. And let's heel toe the feet in a little bit, and then turn toes out and come up to stand. Let yourself equalize for a moment. And then reach the arms out and up so the palms are facing forward. So you're in like a star pose. And then bend the knees and elbows and come into goddess or horse pose. So the body stays upright. Lengthen up again, lengthen the legs and the arms. Do that a couple times. Bending your elbows, coming into the squat. Lengthen up. Exhale, bend the elbows. Last one, lengthen up into the star. And then exhale, bend the elbows and pause here. Draw your shoulder blades together, bend your knees, and then press out through your palms. You can turn your fingertips down and up a couple times. Curl your hands into a fist, stretch the top of the wrist, and then draw the fingertips up and back, pressing out. And then straighten the legs, come forward again into your forward bend. Just moving the hips a little. And then back up to stand. Let's turn towards the left foot. Square your hips forward. Clasp your hands. Taking the hands off the sacrum and hinging forward about halfway. And take a couple breaths, staying with your long spine, drawing the left hip back, feeling both feet against the floor. Maybe you can bow further forward with the hands clasped, or release the hands and bring them to a block or to the floor. Bowing forward, breathing. In pyramid pose. So feeling the stretch, particularly in your left leg. And then from here, let's step the right foot back and come into a low lunge, like a runner's lunge. So really strong in your legs. You could bring your left hand on the inside of your left foot. Stay up for a moment. You could try lifting your hips, rocking back maybe onto the heel of your right foot and rocking forward, bending the front knee and straightening it a couple times. Kind of like we did in the low lunge, but now we're in a high lunge. And the next time you come forward, let your knee come down. And pause there. You could turn the toes of your left foot out towards the edge of the mat a bit and come onto the left forearm, reaching for your ankle, your left ankle with your right hand, either pressing the knee away to help you come into the twist with your left hand. You could also reach back for your right foot, drawing your heel in towards your buttock, helping to bring you into the twist, stacking your right shoulder over your right elbow, Maybe gaze is up. Steady breath. Release your foot if you've got it. Turn your twist back forward, unwind it. And let's step up to downward dog. Take a couple breaths there, sort of evening yourself out. Then we'll step the right foot forward. For pyramid, come up and clasp hands again, just like we did on the other side, and hinge forward, coming about halfway. Drawing the right hip back, left hip forward. Bowing forward, you can release your hands or you can bring the arms up and over. Releasing when you're ready. Pause there. And then let's take the hands on let's step the left foot back, come into the lunge like we did before on the other side. So keeping the knee off the floor, maybe on fingertips or on the blocks. Long spine. Bringing right hand on the inside of your right foot and then lift the hips and come backward and forward a couple times, bending into the right knee and then straightening the right leg. And then come back to the lunge. And let your left knee come to the floor. And then we'll turn the toes of your right foot towards the edge of the mat. Bring your left forearm down. Stack the left shoulder over the elbow. You can press into your knee and help twist right hand into the right knee. Or you can reach back for your left foot, drawing the heel in towards the buttock, using that for leverage to open your chest. Find your breath wherever you are. And release it. And turn to face forward. And then let's step the right knee back and come into prayer. Maybe taking your knees a little wider. And then maybe drawing your hips back to the heels, coming into a child's pose with your knees a little wider. Maybe the arms come back and shoulders rest. Breathe, feel the back of your body moving with the breath. And then we'll come forward again to hands and knees. And let's extend the right leg out to the side. So toes will point forward. Reach your right arm up. Stacking left shoulder over the wrist. Opening the chest. Breathing. Bring your right arm up and over the ear. Lengthening from the sit bone, the right sit bone all the way forward through the fingertips. Then bring that hand to the floor and step that knee back in. Tuck your right arm underneath. Come into this thread the kneel pose, coming onto the back of the right shoulder. I like to keep my left hand on the floor reaching forward. You can also walk the hand back and kind of use it to help you twist in your upper body. And then walk the left hand back in, press into the floor, lift up, coming to hands and knees. And then we will extend the left leg out to the side and come up into this twist. So lift the left arm, stacking your right shoulder over the wrist. And really lift up. Keep the head lifted. Steady breath. And then left hand comes back down. Step your left knee in and tuck your left arm under, coming into this thread the needle. Taking a couple of breaths there. And then walking your right hand in and pressing back up to hands and knees. And just kind of circle your hips a little. And then let's come into frog. So you can keep your feet together, let your knees come apart, and maybe come to the forearms, rocking the hips forward and backwards, keeping your spine long. Just moving slowly. So it's rocking, not bouncing. You might find a sweet spot where you can hang out for a few more breaths. Feeling the stretch in the inner thighs. And then coming forward onto the belly, bring your legs together and just rock the hips. We're going to do some leg stretches and some core strengthening on the floor. So you might want to strap for this. I'll bring the camera down a bit. And so take your strap and we'll come onto our back. And we'll start with some leg stretches. We've already stretched our legs a lot, but I want to get into the outer part of the leg. So let's start by bending the right knee, the sole of your right foot on the floor. Bring the strap underneath the sole of your left foot. As soon as I get down on my back, I start yawning. So pressing your sacrum into the floor, feel your neutral spine, a little bit of space under the neck, and working from there, so you're not rolling up in the low back, drawing the foot towards you. Try to relax your shoulders, let the strap help with that. You might extend your right leg. Take a couple more breaths there. And then take the strap off. We're gonna use it again, but bring your arms, out to the sides, maybe palms facing open. Point your toe on your left foot, and start to make some circles. Make the circles small. Going slowly, so feeling like you're really moving from your center and making the circles bigger. Widening, so the circles might be like medium-sized. And then start to back away from the medium size, coming to small. Again, going really slow, as if your leg is very heavy. And then bend the knee. You could take the knee in towards the chest, or you could take a half happy baby pose. This would be my preference, but you can also just bend the knee. You can also reach back behind the thigh and take some breaths there. Staying with it. Noticing what comes up for you when you're holding a pose. Especially at home, sometimes there's lots of distractions, so staying with your breath, with your practice, avoiding distractions and temptations. You can always bring yourself back to the breath coming in and out through the nose. And then release the foot, extend the leg up again. You can again bring your arms down by your sides with palms facing open. Point your toe, bring your left leg out towards the left, and then flex the foot. So really feel engaged in the belly. Draw that leg back up, point the toe again, and bring it across. You could lift the hip, then flex the foot. You might keep the shoulders on the floor, but let the leg come over, lift the hip, and then bring it back up to center. Slowly, moving slowly. Point your toes, do that again. Bring the leg out to the side, to the left. Keeping the sacrum on the floor, so right leg is engaged. Flex your feet, flex both feet. You might shake a little. My left leg shaking a little. It's just my nervous system. Bring that leg back up, point the toe, and bring it over towards the right. And then flex both feet. Drawing your left hip back even as the leg comes over. So feeling these muscles here on the left side of the torso, the obliques, helping to stabilize. Bring the leg back up, slowly, really slowly. Pause there, bend the knee. And then bend your right knee, rocking a little bit from side to side. You might release the knees and make circles with your knees in one direction. And then circle in the opposite direction. So bring knees in and around. And then bring the sole of the left foot to the floor. Take your strap, bring it underneath the right foot. Extend your right leg up. Feel your sacrum pressing back towards the floor. Relax the upper body. Drawing that right leg in towards you. So feeling a big stretch there. Relax the jaw. You could extend your left leg. So you might feel some stretch across the front of the hip and in the back of the right leg. This is when we do splits, but we're in the other orientation of gravity, so we're not upside down like this. There's a lot of stretch happening in the front of the left hip and in the quads, front of the thigh. This is gentler, of course, on your back. You're still stretching, but not as much weight. And then go ahead and release the strap again. Bring your arms out to the sides, point your toe, and start making circles with your left leg. While your sacrum stays pinned to the floor, go slowly. Like you're moving your leg, and your leg is really heavy, so you have to go slow to get it to move. You're not using momentum. Make the circles bigger. So they're kind of like medium-sized circles. And then switch the direction of those medium-sized circles. Trying not to use momentum so much as muscular effort, muscular engagement. Make the circles smaller, coming in towards center. Making small circles, keeping sacrum on the floor, upper body relaxed, breathing. And then either draw your knee in and pause there, or come into a half happy baby and stay there for a few breaths. Steady breath. And then release that foot or that leg and bring the arms out again. Oh, excuse me. Straighten your right leg up, point the toes, and then open the right leg out towards the right and flex the foot. Pause there, feel sacrum on the floor. Breathing, relax the shoulders. Bring that foot back up to center, point the toe, bring it across. You can lift your right hip, keep shoulders on the floor, flex the feet. Wrapping your left hip back and down. And then bring that leg back up to center, point the toe, bring it out to the right. Flex the foot. Keep sacrum on the floor, breathing. Leg feels pretty heavy. Nice steady breath. Bring it back up, point the toe. And one more time, bring it across. Flex the foot there. Keep the shoulders on the floor, breathing. And bring it back up. Straight up. Bend that knee and draw the other knee in. Just rock a little. And then we'll take this strap again. Let's take it under the right foot just to get some stretch on this outer part of the leg. Extend your right leg, sorry. And then with the strap in your right hand, you could bring your left arm out to the side. Keep sacrum on the floor, don't lift it. Flex your left foot and bring the leg across your body until you can't bring it anymore without lifting your left hip. And you should feel some interesting sensation at the left side of the hip and up into the thigh, maybe even into the calf. You can take your thumb into the hip crease and draw it down as you bring that leg across. Breathing. And then slowly bring it back up. And take the strap into your left hand, bring it out to the side. Now you have the strap to help support it. Bring your right arm out to the side for counterbalance, keeping sacrum on the floor. Flex your right foot so the right leg is engaged. Relax the jaw. Relax your sense of anticipation about when this will end. So bring yourself really present into the awareness of your breath. And then bring that leg back up. And you could bring your right foot up into the strap and pause there. And then take the left foot out. Find your neutral spine. Extend the left leg. Take the strap into the left hand, right arm out to the side, and bring that foot across. So keep the hip and the lower back on the floor. You can take thumb into the hip crease. So bring it over as far as you can with the foot flexed without lifting your hip or sacrum. And you'll start to feel that intense stretch up the right side of your leg. As requested by Shivanti, I think, or Sasha. Let your breath be full. Just another breath. Take the leg back up, switch the strap into the right hand, extend your left arm, and take the leg out towards the right, keeping your sacrum on the floor. And take a couple breaths there. And then bring that leg back up. Again, bring your left leg back into the strap, so you're just in this kind of reclined fold. And bend the knees. Take the strap off. And then we're going to use the ball for a couple of things. We're going to take the ball into our upper back and do some little kind of crunchy things. So supporting your head and then letting yourself roll and arch your back over the ball, supporting the head, and then coming up, contracting the front of your body. You can keep looking up and then roll back, stretch the front of the body and contract. So you're doing little crunches. Then you might hold here for a moment, contracting your abs, your rectus abdominis, and then let yourself roll back over the ball. Bring your head down to a pillow or to the floor, coming into this fish over a ball position. So I would recommend a pillow under the head if you have one. Chest is opening. And don't let your breath be stingy here. It's a little harder to breathe when you're in a back bend, but find your breath. Let your rib cage expand. Feel the stretching of the tissue in between the ribs. Keeping your head supported as you need to, so there's no strain in your neck. Then bring the hands back behind the head and come back up. Let's take the ball out, set it off to the side. Actually, take the ball and put it in between your knees. And squeeze the ball there, bringing the backs of your arms to the floor, so you're just palms facing open. And find neutral position of the spine, and then just squeeze the ball and just lift your feet off the floor like an inch without letting the belly pop up. Try to breathe as comfortably as you can. And then let the feet come down. For me, that's challenging. And then try lifting the knees up higher. And then maybe the arms out to the side. Squeeze the ball, let your knees go side to side. So keep the knees pointing straight up. And then roll your knees all the way over towards the left side with the ball there. Releasing the left thigh to the floor, and then back up through center and come over to the right, letting the knees come towards the right thigh, come to the floor, but keeping the ball there. And then back up to center, squeeze the ball, bring your feet down, keep squeezing the ball and roll up into bridge with the ball there. Maybe you can walk your arms under and clasp your hands. Keep squeezing the ball. Take a couple more breaths here. So feel your glutes. Release your hands and very slowly roll down as you squeeze the ball. And then we're going to do some quick clams on our side, and then we'll do some ball rolling to end. So come onto your left side. You could release your head down towards the floor. Bring your knees forward. So stay on your side, stacking your hips. And try not to strain your neck. If you support your head, it might be a little strain in the neck, but find a comfortable position. Lift your feet and open the knees. And then go slowly. Open and close the knees. Moving with as little momentum as possible. A couple more times like that. And then when you get to the top next time, hold it. So hold the knees open. Try not to lean back, so use your hips to open, not by moving your body, but by pressing into that outer range of motion of the hip, external rotation of the hip. Try to relax your neck. I had my first vaccine yesterday and my arm is super sore. And then close the knees. And just roll onto your back for a moment, draw the knees in. And then we'll roll over onto the right side. We'll just do that same thing again. So release your head, bring the knees forward. Lift the feet, open your knees. And just go very slowly to close knees and open. Closing and opening. Moving without much momentum. So as your leg comes back towards the floor, move it like there's resistance. And just like 2 more like that slowly, and then we'll keep the knee open and hold it. So try to breathe as you do that, really pressing your knees apart. Like a little leprechaun leaping or something. Just another breath. And close the knees and roll onto the back. Draw the knees in, rocking a little from side to side. And then we'll take a few minutes on the ball before we come to Shavasana. And I'm going to suggest that we do some leg. Well, Janice wanted upper back and shoulders, so you could do that. Or you could also start in the IT band and roll into that outer thigh. So whatever suits you, you have different spots that need attention. If you're going to start with the IT band, you could roll over onto your quads eventually. Maybe then ending in your hip rotators. You can also do all the upper back and shoulders. I'm going to stick with my lower body, so drawing the left knee forward to get into the quads on the right side. Kind of directing the body weight that you wish to put into the ball by supporting yourself on your hands or forearms. Sometimes it takes a minute for it to become comfortable enough to stay with it. First it feels really sensational. So just breathing through. If you're on your leg, you could also get into the inner thigh. And even down near the knee into the adductor muscles. And if you're doing one side, switching to the other. And I'm starting in my IT band, my iliotibial band on the left side. Very sensational, getting down near the knee. And maybe bringing your left knee forward to get into quads. And into the inner thigh even. Inner thigh muscles, the adductors. Sometimes when the IT band gets really tight or the adductors get really tight, we end up with knee pain. So this kind of rolling can be really helpful. Or having somebody massage. Also manipulate the tissue. And just kind of evening yourself out wherever you are. I'm going to end here with my outer hips, and you could choose to do that or something else. Just taking your time. Don't forget about your breath, staying with your conscious breathing as you're rolling. If you're on one side, bring it to the other side. And just finishing up with a couple more moments with the ball. Might come off the ball and let yourself come down onto the floor on your back, drawing the knees in. And rocking a little bit from side to side. You might take your feet about hip width to the floor with knees bent and let your knees go side to side, like deer pose. And perhaps ending with your knees over to the left, bringing the knees to the left. You might pick up your left ankle and put it on top of left knee if your knees are okay with that. Our arms could be out to the sides. Deer pose. Breathing consciously. And then removing your ankle from your knee and bringing knees back through center and over towards the right. For deer on the right. Maybe the right ankle on top of the left knee. Finding your steady breath here, letting the breath come back down to its own natural rhythm. Releasing the jaw, the head against the floor. Then if you have your ankle on your knee, release that. And once again, draw your knees in towards your chest one last time. And then you might bring the soles of your feet together, knees apart, coming into a reclined cobbler's pose or reclined bound angle, Supta, Baddha Konasana. Letting gravity assist as your hips open. If that feels like too much, you can always put cushions under the thighs or knees to support you if you want more of a restorative kind of reclined bound angle. And that can be a nice place to stay for Shavasana if you're supported in it with cushions. Sometimes it's also nice to do that with your back over a bolster. So just ideas. Or you can just come all the way onto your back, extend your legs and arms by your sides. And just allow yourself to have a few minutes in your final resting pose. Just letting yourself release towards the floor, grounding yourself. So connecting with gravity, the force of gravity, connecting with the earth, feeling grounded. And if you've been gardening, you're probably feeling a little more grounded just from having your hands in the dirt anyway, or your feet in the dirt, and the earth. So take a couple moments here, feeling the effects of your practice and kind of feeling the integration of the movements that you made today and the breathing. Taking a few more moments. Literally grounding yourself, connecting. And feeling the back of your body against the earth, broadening and widening. And you can end here, or you could roll back onto your side and come back to your more vertical spine into your seated position where we started. Bringing yourself back up, grounding your seat against the floor and feeling your spine lengthening up, grounding down through your tailbone and lengthening up through the crown of the head. Taking a few relaxed, conscious, comfortable breaths here, feeling the natural curves of your spine. And then you might bring yourself back to your intention that you set for practice this evening. You could bring your palms together and just take a moment to honor that intention and also to release it. And to bow your head to your heart, to your own practice, your own inner teacher, your higher self or your higher power. Thank you so much. So nice to be here with all of you on this Friday night. Sasha, Shivanti, Janice, Lisa. And I'm looking forward to, at some time, being with you again in person. Hopefully in the near future. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.